Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Q here again from Paleo Problem Island, MikeTheCaveman.com, and another edition of Monday Nights with Mike, Livestream Q&A. And you know how this goes. Ask me anything pretty much health related. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to pull up on my phone pull up the live stream, that way I can see what's going on, because sometimes the comments don't come up the way they should. So, probably going to get some noise feedback. Let's see. Yep. Awesome. So now I'll be able to see your comments. Just, start putting your questions in there, and we'll get started with our Q&A. Just to get started beforehand, I'll start addressing one that came into me from my good friend Kim. Essentially, what the question is what do I think about something like the Master Cleanse, right? Where you're going to take some apple cider vinegar and some lemon juice, honey, and cayenne, putting all those together and drinking it as a detox or a cleanse. And the fact of the matter is, most of you already heard my thoughts on detoxes and cleanses, and if you haven't, the answer is no. Let's be very clear, though. When we're talking about those cleanses, those detox, we're talking about only drinking that juice, or in this case, that liquid concoction, for a couple of days. Now, I'm not anti-fasting. I'm not anti those ingredients. In fact, raw honey, lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, and cayenne, I've talked about all of those before. They are all excellent ideas, and putting them together is also a great idea. But that should be part of regular routine as opposed to being the only thing you're doing. Generally, when we're looking at the Master Cleanse kind of concept, you're taking that drink in, and that's pretty much all you're doing, or you're doing it with a juice, and that's about it. No good. But if you want to start your morning with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, or a little bit of lemon juice, or a little bit of cayenne, or a little bit of raw honey, or you want to put them all together, yeah, that's going to be a great idea. I see no problem with incorporating a Master Cleanse style drink as part of your morning routine, or as a general pick-me-up. All those things are good independently. Putting them together, not a problem. So, definitely not a terrible idea. So, hey Steph, hey Norman, how you guys doing? I don't know who else is on the call right now, or on the Q&A right now, but pop in, say hi, add some questions. Would love to see what you got going on. But so far we talked a little bit about that. Okay, that's a great question, Steph. Why is apple cider vinegar contraindicated if you have mold illness? And the reason being is that it is a fermented product. So, where things can get a little bit squirrely is in those cases. This partly has to do with histamine response. So, people who have histamine issues, right? Histamine is part of the inflammatory response. What is mold illness going to lead to? Well, generally, if it's a chronic mold problem, you're looking at chronic inflammatory response syndrome, So, in that case, histamine is part of that immune response. If you are dealing with an irregulated immune system, a lot of times, or dysregulated, a lot of times you're going to be seeing bacterial overgrowth of histamine producers. And you may see some faulty action on the breakdown of histamine. As such, you can be leading to further inflammation. So, something like apple cider vinegar or other fermented foods that are going to release histamines, or they're going to be high histamine in general, well, they could actually contribute to that. So, could be a problem. Hey Nicole, what's up? Husband I was like, he's live. Rock on. Yes, Nicole and her husband Al, had the pleasure of meeting them at one of my best friend Monty's weddings this weekend down in West Virginia, and we linked up over breakfast yesterday. So awesome to see you on. If you have any questions, be sure to pop on. Like, this is my Monday nights, my live stream. So great to see you here. Steph, did that kind of address what your question was? Did that basically get to where we're going with this? But yeah, so we talked a little bit about, again, that apple cider vinegar and talking about the Master Cleanse kind of thing. Again, I've talked about them independently, but I'll build off of that for now while I'm waiting for some more questions to come in. But essentially, when we're talking about those apple cider vinegar in and of itself, generally excellent idea, particularly if you're dealing with acid reflux. It can help with replenishing the stomach acid. In the case of, it has some enzymes, potentially some vitamins, some B vitamins in there as well. Just like any fermented food, it's going to be pretty beneficial for most people. The raw honey is going to have some immune modulating effects. can provide a little bit of energy in the form of the sugar. It's not going to spike insulin like crazy, like most sugars will, because it's mostly fructose. That's a good idea. It will have some vitamins, a little bit more enzymes. So those all together, good idea. The cayenne pepper will help with circulation. It will help with dealing with inflammation. So cayenne, great idea. And the last part, the lemon juice, may or may not have some insulin regulating activity, and similar to the apple cider vinegar and the others, we get a little bit of vitamin C in there, so beneficial. All those together could work. I don't mind doing that. I'll occasionally do them independently. That's a lot. I have done them before as part of the Master Cleanse kind of concept. Never done the full protocol, but I've done them. I put them together. They're good. Alright, I think I beat that dead horse now. Okay, another one, Steph says. Sometimes when I drink kombucha, it gives me sort of a warm, fuzzy feeling. Why? Because it reminds you of home. I don't know. Could you explain the warm, fuzzy feeling a little more in terms of what is? I mean, it could be the carbonation. In your case, unfortunately, dealing with inflammatory issues. It could be, the bacteria, almost like, so the SCOBY in the kombucha, the bacteria and the yeast, maybe they're interacting and they're like, yo, what's going on? I honestly don't have an answer for you on that one. Okay, so in your limbs, you feel it in your limbs. So is it a warm fuzzy, like a pain, like a tingling pain, or is it like a neuropathy almost, or is it just like you say you worked out kind of? So they feel relaxed and get this strange feeling. Although I recently cut it out as well as apple cider vinegar. So complete shot in the dark. Don't quote this long term. If I had to venture a guess, it would have to do something. It feels good. It would probably have something to do with the enzymes. So because that kombucha, the apple cider vinegar, because they are a rich source of enzymes, potentially they could be improving circulation that way. They could be breaking down some stuff, helping you out that way. Again, don't have any proof of that. I have no backing up on that. But that's my best educated guess on why you'd have that warm, fuzzy feeling from kombucha. But, hey, Mickey, what's up? What's up, Brian? How you guys doing? So, yeah, so far, again, talked about Master Cleanse, talked about apple cider vinegar independently and why it may be a problem for certain things. Talked a little bit about his warm, fuzzy feelings from kombucha. But, cool. So, no problem. Trying to think. I had some other questions that popped up a little bit. Let's see what we got. In the meantime, though, who else has got some questions for me? Oh, I did have a good one. I had one. Where'd it go? I lost it. Alright, well, let's put some questions in the Q&A. Got a couple people here, still popping in and out. Let's see. Let's get me some questions. While I look for another one that I had from before. Well, while I'm looking for that and waiting for some comments to come in, those you didn't know, like I said, I mentioned the call before, spent some good times down in beautiful West Virginia this weekend, and got to have some discussions about the importance of eating lots and lots of bacon over breakfast. Always a good idea. Food down there was pretty good. I, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, did not have to eat possum while I was down there, so that's always a benefit, I guess. Maybe it's good. Don't know. I know a lot of people usually come on in the middle of this. They usually get the big arrival around like 20 minutes in, and that's when nobody's there. That's when I'm getting ready to wrap up. That's when everybody decides to show up. But let's see. Could talk about. Okay, so I had a question regarding an issue coming up on the X-ray. So someone's X-ray came up and they showed some thickening of soft tissue. Now, when we're looking at it wasn't any breaks, or it wasn't, so they had an issue in their foot, a lot of pain. It wasn't a break, but the X-ray showed thickening of the soft tissue, meaning that there was some scar tissue building up. So, what could they do in that case? Well, what I would look at first is fire cream, obviously. It's going to help deal with the pain. It's going to bring down inflammation. It's going to bring blood flow to the area. It's going to help to heal any kind of damage you have going on there. However, I would also go, and that's why I would definitely be looking at adding in systemic enzymes, something like Vibrenza. So, fibrous tissue buildup, so you have the hardening of the tissue. Essentially, what we're looking at is an issue where that fibrous tissue is building up, it's replacing your healthy tissue. So normally, so that's actually a good one to segue into. When we have, when we're dealing with an injury, so when you have an injury or an insult to your body, whether it's a cut on the outside or it's a lesion on the inside, and we're looking at plaques or something building up, what's happening is your body generally lays down a layer of fibrous tissue first. And hey, Mickey, I said hi to you before, you didn't say hi back, but your body lays down a tissue of fibrous tissue. Now that fibrin generally should be the first layer, and then as your body replaces it with healthy tissue, it goes and it heals, and you get a formation of new tissue. The problem is, if it remains inflamed for too long, or you don't have if you have inadequate nutritional supply, you don't have the right support for it, well, it can't replace it. So, in the process, when it is unable to replace it, it remains... Oh, I was talking to Holly. When it remains, what's going to happen is if you don't have the right support, you don't have the right building materials to put that healthy tissue back together, that fibrous tissue remains behind. So, what happens is you don't get replacement tissue. You get stuck with that scar tissue. So, what you want to do is break down that scar tissue, resupply the nutrients, and then you should be able to re-heal that tissue. So, the problem is getting people to actually supply those nutrients. How do you do that? Well, we've talked about it before. And more often than not, we're looking at things like the bone broth and the gelatin. Those will supply part of what you need to rebuild healthy tissue. That's why it's so good for skin, hair, nail, joints, bones, gut lining. From there, particularly on a topical end, that's where something like fire cream comes in so well, because the comfrey root can help rebuild the extracellular matrix of that joint, of that bone, of that muscle, that small soft tissue. So by putting that together, using the Vibrenza to break down the scar tissue, resupplying the nutrients in the form of the bone broth gelatin, getting in the vitamins and minerals, those are going to be super important as well, making sure your micronutrients sufficient, and you'll be able to rebuild your house. You can do that reconstruction project. So, let's see, arthritis, possibly Vibrenza, absolutely, yes. So it could be arthritis. That's basically what we're looking at with arthritis. It's an inflammation of that joint system. So arthritis, definitely a solid. Vibrenza definitely be a solid idea. And more often than not, it's the hardening. So what, Holly popped on? I didn't see Holly pop up. It's weird, again, it's weird the way this works. It doesn't tell me that the names that are on. It shows me a little bit, but okay, we have head injury. Not me, a friend's kid. Headaches, anxiety setting in. Okay, so I'm assuming an acute head injury? If it's possible, tell me what kind of injury it was. Was it a fall? Was it like a blunt force impact? Was it like a sporting event? Was it a football head injury? Either way, not particularly, doesn't really matter how it happened, but the crazy one on this one's going to be fire cream again. I actually have it sitting in the side passenger thing of my car. God forbid I get into an accident, rub it directly on my head. And unfortunately, I've had to put this theory to the test before due to my training as an MMA athlete, and during a sparring session, definitely jarred my head a little bit. I had a little bit of a problem there. And as such, what ended up happening was I got knocked into 50 First Dates Memento. If you don't know what that means, essentially I had anterograde amnesia. And what that means is that I had a long reset time. It was every 30 seconds to a minute. My brain would basically reset, and I'd completely forget. I couldn't form new memories. So, major problem. However, the funny thing is that I remembered the fire cream thing. And I remember I'd be rubbing fire cream on my head, and I'd be like, oh, who got me the fire cream? Like, and actually Al Percy, who just joined on, Al was there. He can actually verify the story. What's up, Pat? What's up, Al? But yes, talking about rubbing fire cream on my head and remembering who got me the fire cream. Al actually might have been the one to get it for me. It was either Al or Brian who got me that fire cream. So it was essentially, who got me the fire cream? Who got me the fire cream? Like, you told us to get it for you. Like, oh, that makes sense. I'm like, oh, who's the smart guy that got me the fire cream? Oh, that was, you told me to get it to you. And because I was on reset, my brains couldn't figure out that I'm the one that told them to get it for me. But 4 hours later, I came back. So it was you. Yes. So Al, perfect timing that you popped on right in the middle of that story. Al is the one who got me the fire cream. The rest of that story doesn't probably need to be told. But that being said, so Mickey, yes, fire cream on the kid's head. Potentially consider some hydrogen peroxide therapy. You can message me more about that. I talked about that in one of the articles I wrote over at MikeTheCaveman.com. But essentially, hydrogen peroxide is H2O2, has an extra oxygen molecule. The idea is you're using 30%, so stronger oxygen, stronger hydrogen peroxide concentration. You're adding a little bit into a diluted amount. You're diluting it in a gallon of distilled water. There is a process that you build up on that. But essentially, the thought process is that you're going to take that extra oxygen molecule, and it's going to help to reoxygenate the brain. So, yes, we have to talk about that. Awesome. So, yeah. So, potentially some hydrogen peroxide therapy. Definitely fire cream in the head. It's always the best in the immediate aftermath of the injury, but it wouldn't hurt now because if he's still having headaches, there's probably still some remaining damage. And I know, Steph, if you're still on the call, you can co-sign on the benefits of the fire cream for headaches. And yeah, we definitely talk more about it. From there, though, other things, anything that's going to reduce inflammation, particularly to the brain. In the ideal world, you get him onto a ketogenic protocol. If there's any way you can convince him, but again, particularly depending on how old the kid is, it may be pretty difficult to do that. But the benefits of a ketogenic diet for traumatic brain injury is almost unquestionable at this point. Just like the benefits for neurodegeneration, it's an incredible thing. And hey, Cheryl, hey, Catherine, how you guys doing? So far, talked a bunch about apple cider vinegar and master cleanses. Talked a little bit about, yes, that would be a case where I would definitely suggest that. That's actually how we got involved with them in the first place, yes. We got involved with the exogenous ketones because Michael's son had the seizures, and kids, ketogenic diet may not be the easiest thing for them to sign up on. So in that case, yeah, if you still have any, but I know you mailed most of it back to me. If you have any lying around, or you want to get, that would definitely be a solid bet. I would definitely get some in that kid. Start slow, you know the deal. But yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, talking about the unfortunate side effects of brain injuries. Talked a little bit about my personal experience with traumatic brain injuries. Cool, your friend has some. Excellent. So yeah, I would definitely look at getting some in that kid. Exogenous ketones, let's be very, very clear on that. Oh, man, apparently I missed Norman's question. Sorry, bud. That's way back. If you're still here, Norman, I definitely will answer your question now. The live stream format, I miss questions sometimes. So, keto plus high-intensity exercise, terrible idea. So, it does get into a little bit of a squirrely neighborhood. If it's keto plus high intensity, and those are your only two stressors, then you can probably get by. But if you have kids, you don't have sleep, if you're also trying to throw in fasting, or you're also trying to throw in, your job's a major pain. It really depends on how much stress do you have going on. That's one of those other situations where I see some benefit from exogenous ketones. I see the benefit of using that as a performance enhancer in terms of getting in high-intensity exercise, getting in a lot of the benefits of the ketones for that exercise without necessarily trashing your system. That comes with the caveat. I still wouldn't say start taking in 200-300 grams carbs a day. I still think that your carb intake should be low-ish. But if you are training at high intensities, probably should get some in, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be pretty taxing to be able to be a true ketogenic diet, yet still get in enough protein to rebuild the muscle tissue and get in enough carbohydrate in order to replenish your glycogen stores. Because you'd either have to have super high protein intake to induce gluconeogenesis to produce the sugar for your glycogen, or you're going to have to take in the carbs. So either way, you need both of those. So the problem is, without having some carb intake, I'm talking about at super high levels, you probably do fine with 100 to 150 grams, and that could be a top out level. And what's interesting is that exercise in and of itself can induce ketosis. So there's a post-exercise ketotic state that gets induced when you work at super high intensities. So what you could do is you could actually go and you could basically time it so that before the pre-workout, or rather immediately post-workout, you have a little bit of those carbs. That's when you have the carbs right after that workout. And then the rest of the day can be ketotic. Or if you're working out at night, you do your ketosis in the morning. That way you have the extended period where you're not consuming that carbohydrate. And then right before the workout, again, you take some exogenous ketones to help extend that. And then afterwards you have your carbs. But because the exercise can induce ketosis, you should be able to roll through that, no problem. So, hope that answers that. I don't know if you're still here, Norman. If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag you back here, at least try to. Apparently I can't do that. Oh. Mickey says, yes, we talked about that. Hey, Jackie, what's up? Yes, again, talking a little bit about... Oh, cool, Norman, you are still here. Awesome. Facebook really needs to figure out the logistics of this better in terms of how I get these questions. Avocados. What about them, Jackie? They are delicious. They are very versatile. I have a recipe for chocolate mousse regarding them. What would you like to discuss with avocados? They have avocado. I saw a thing with using them and wrapping like a burger out of it. Oh, it was like putting the burger inside the avocado, or the egg. I saw an egg inside the avocado. You go and you drop the egg into a bag and you soft boil it. Yes, guacamole is delicious. Chocolate brownies with avocado, all great ideas. So you soft boil the egg. That's what it is. So you soft boil the egg, and then you put it inside the avocado. And you wrap that with an onion, and then you wrap that with beef, and then you wrap that with bacon. It's definitely going to be a recipe at some point. I'm going to have to do that, tomorrow. Totally doing that now. Yeah. I know you did not intend to inspire me a question on that one. Inspire my random thoughts there, but bacon, yes. Moe's is better than Chipotle. I would like to think so. Overall, they have bacon. Chipotle doesn't. I'm not sure where we're going with this, but yeah, you do it. I actually have talked about that before, that Moe's and Chipotle, though, are among the two best fast food restaurants. The best being Bear Burger, of course, but Chipotle and Moe's are actually pretty solid. They're pretty up there in terms of the best options. It's Caveman cooking session. Yeah, we're just throwing out random foods, and we're going to figure out... It's the Caveman cooking brainstorm session. That's what this is, yes. So we're brainstorming what is Mike the Caveman going to cook next. And I think we figured it out. I'm going to try that tomorrow. Probably. Maybe not. Almost definitely. So this is getting into a really squirrely neighborhood in terms of just randomness. But we have about 5 minutes left, so I like to run these for about half an hour. It's not a hard number. But any other questions we have going on right now? Bueller? So, again, for those of you who came in late, just to recap, like I like to do this, when there's a little bit of dead time. Talk about the Master Cleanse, talk about getting in apple cider vinegar, kombucha, why it can make you feel warm and fuzzy. Talk a little bit about recovering from injuries, how the inflammation process works to basically rebuild new tissue and rebuild scar tissue. Talk a little bit about ketosis and high-intensity exercise, traumatic brain injury and ketosis, randomly talk about avocados, and maybe figure out my recipe video for tomorrow, or recipe video period. And it will probably be tomorrow, because I kind of want that now. Yeah. So, if there's no other questions, I think we'll call it, and then make it a little bit shorter today. But either way, those of you who hopped on tonight during the live portion, I'll come back to that one. But yeah, either way, everybody, I'll come back to the answer to the question in a second. But guys, those who came on for the live stream, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't already, if you head over to youtube.com/MikeTheCaveman and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. MikeTheCaveman.com. I haven't done too much over there, but I have some plans for that. So again, I'm gonna build that up a little more in a little bit. Head over there, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm gonna put out some new content on both, obviously. Okay, so we have edema in his feet, swelling really bad. Mother-in-law has heart issue, elephantitis. So regarding edema, it's gonna be a common suggestion, but once again, fire cream. Circulation, though, is definitely going to be an issue, which we're going to look at cayenne. Definitely want to increase cayenne, potentially get in some fibrenza, or just bromelain in general. So that's going to help with the breakdown of fibrous tissue, but it's also going to help improve circulation. So the inside of pineapple. Excuse me. So yeah, in terms of edema, also going to want to work on electrolyte balance. I would get in some extra potassium, potentially some extra magnesium. Yeah. So, hey Julia, what's up? Yeah. In terms of with the edema, fire cream to bring it down. Just more cayenne, internal cayenne, internal. Oh, Julia. Why are you trolling me? He starts to like Diggle. Is bacon bad for me? I love bacon. No. You actually missed it. We're going to possibly be making a crazy recipe video tomorrow. So either you can watch the replay or you can wait for tomorrow to see the recipe. Yeah. Should be good. Any legitimate question besides the is bacon bad for me? Before I cut out. Waiting for this to come in. Any last shots? Like, invite friends there now? Interesting. So confusing. Apparently you can add filters now too, and you can write stuff and draw on the screen. Yet I can't figure out where everybody is. Oh boy. Alright guys. Thanks for coming on. Again, truly appreciate it. You know where to find me. And if you're watching on the replay, thanks for staying this long. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow.